Hey guys, it's time to make our Ohio Star blocks. We're going to be making 4 of these. So to get started, you're going to take your 4.5 inch patterned square, and then also your neutral one with the diagonal line drawn on the wrong side. Lay them down right sides together, and then you're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam from this side and from this side. So once you've done that, it'll look like this. I've got a seam on either side of that line. And now we're going to make 2 cuts. We're going to cut from corner to corner on the line that we drew. Okay. Now I'm also going to cut from corner to corner of just the other, 2 corners. Okay. So then I'm going to make 2 piles with these. One where the seam is on that side and one where the seam is on that side. Okay, so after we've done that, we need to iron all of the seam allowances to the dark side. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to be ironing it this way because that's towards the darker fabric. Okay. Okay. So you'll repeat that with all of your pieces, and what you're going to end up with is 2 piles. Alright, and this one, the seam allowances are ironed this direction, and then on this one they're ironed this direction. So now it's time to make the little hourglass pieces. So you're going to take 2 from the same pile and flip them over, and there you can see it creates the hourglass shape. I'm going to put these right sides together, and they should be all ready for nesting, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of move these around until they're nesting, and then we're going to place a seam a pin right there, and then sew a 1/4 inch seam from this side. Okay, so once you've done that, here's what your piece will look like. And now it's time to square this up. We're going to be squaring this up to 3.5 inches. So I have this tool that lets me square it up while it's still folded like this, but if you don't have one of these, you'll just iron it open and then just square it up to 3.5 inches. Okay. Alright, so after you've done that, we're going to press all of these just open. So I'm going to put it face down, get my fingers in between the seam here, press it open. Alright, cute little hourglass blocks. Okay, so you're going to repeat that. I think you should have 16 of these by the time we're done. And so to do one Ohio Star block, you're going to need 4 of these. 4 of your neutral, let's see, I don't know how big these are, let me check. Neutral 3 3/4 inch squares, and then this is our 3.5 inch pattern square. Okay, so we're going to start laying these out, and I'm going to show you them in the rows. So you can see I put 2 neutral squares here and then an hourglass block. I have my middle square with 2 hourglass blocks, and then this. Just be sure when you're laying them out that you don't lay any of them out this way. See how here's the long end of my patterned fabric. I don't want that touching this middle square. I want only the long end of the neutral fabric to be touching that middle square when you're laying these out. And you can see that the neutral pieces are a little bigger. I've done that intentionally just to make it a little bit, give us a little bit of wiggle room when we're squaring up here in a minute. So I've just made it so that this line, this side of the row, all the pieces are flush. These ones, both sides will be flush, and then this one, this side here is flush. So next thing, after you've sewn your 3 rows like this, you're going to press the middle seams in. You're going to press these upper seams out, and these ones out. Okay, and that'll prepare it for nesting. So now we're going to take that row, put it face down, and I'm going to put a pin at both of these seams. So one here, and then make sure those are just nesting, butting up against each other nicely. I'm going to put another one here. All right, and I'm going to sew right along there. Then I'll open that up, and I'll do the same thing with this other row. So once these two are sewn together, I'm going to sew that row on. Okay, so then you'll have your Ohio star. I've already squared this up to 9.5 inches by 9.5 inches. And so the last thing we're going to do now is we're actually going to add some of the neutral fabric to this block. So here I have a strip, and I'm going to put it so that it's flush right here. Put it right sides together, and then I'm going to sew right along this edge. Okay, so that'll be sewn, and then you'll take another one of these strips and you're going to put it right along the long edge here, put it right sides together, and then you'll sew right along here. And after you've done that, you want to press those seams open, and then you'll square it up to 12.5 inches by 12.5 inches. So you can see this is obviously different colors, but I have this piece that I sewed here and here, and now I've squared it up so it's 12.5 inches this way and 12.5 inches that way. All right, so keep going till you have 4 of those. Okay, as we're finishing the Ohio star blocks, I just wanted to show you when you're squaring this up to 12.5 inches, you're only going to cut from this side and this side. You don't want to cut off any of those edges right there. So I'm going to count over 12.5 and then cut, whoops, and I'll do it again so it's straight. Okay, then I'm going to twist that and count over 12.5 and then cut that again. Okay, so that's how it's going to look when you're all done, and should be nice and square.